everyone, and welcome to this November TBR. As I mentioned last month, I had a plan as to how I was going to make my TBR more exciting to me, and so this month I have actioned the plan. There's still a lot more work that needs doing on this board, but all the same I'm really excited to try it out. So I will now show you around the board, give you a little tour, explain how some of it works. So first of all, let me just take you for a tour around the board. We start, I have to have the board the right way around really, wouldn't it? We start here, you then work your way up, down, up, the end goal being to land here, and then follow this red one all the way down so that there is always this tick. That said, it gets a lot more complicated than that. To talk you through each square, we'll just start in the order you're meant to go around the board. So books I want to read this year, TBR bag Kindle, that's books that are on my Kindle that I've picked up from the TBR bag previously. Recent purchases, 5-star predictions, friends' least favourite reads of the year, read a Goodreads Choice Award book. That can be a winner or it can be from the shortlist. Then we have continuous series, random number generator, a TBR book, that's on my entire TBR on Goodreads. Classic or a play, new TBR bag pick, so I'd pick a new book out of the TBR bag. Books from a friend's most recent TBR video. A NetGalley backlist book, so a book that I've had from NetGalley for a long time. Read any book. That will also have the backup version of read any book that has been on a previous TBR that I have failed. Then we have read a non-fiction, start a new series, get my boyfriend or mum to pick a book. Then we have free Kindle book. I've just realised I've gone through these in the total wrong order. Never mind. Free Kindle book, Kindle First or Unlimited or Prime. Book from a friend's most recent wrap-up, friend's recent 5-star read, get social media to pick a book, so I could put a poll on Instagram, I could ask just on this YouTube video. I have options. Read any fiction book. That just leaves it so open just in case there's something I'm really desperate to pick up. Read a standalone and then booktuber pick. The booktuber pick is either I could get a friend to pick a book for me, or I could pick from the comments of a video if anyone's ever recommended anything, or I've got my audiobook like asking for recommendations video, so again I could pick from there. I have options. That said, I'm now going to jump into this game, and I'm a little bit scared that this is going to be painful and that this might end up being quite a long video. I want to say right now as well, if you have any recommendations of books that you want me to add to my TBR future months, please drop those in the comments down below, because I'll be needing lots of your recommendations based on this board. So yeah, let's get into it. I do want to do more work to this board, so hopefully in future months it'll look a bit more polished. But yeah, it's in a usable state now. So I think what better way for you to just understand how bookshelves and bookmarks works as a game is to just watch it in action. So here we go, throw number 1. That's a 5. I'm using a Monopoly token for now, but I do want to eventually make a book token. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is middle ladder, so I don't need to do anything. It's also at the end of a bookmark. You slide down the bookmarks like you would slide down snakes and ladders. So again, I don't need to do anything for that. So we've got a friend's least favourite read of the year. I've picked one of Aoife's books for this. And I remember her mentioning about The Secret Diary of Hendrik Groen, aged 83 and a quarter years old, which is the first Hendrik Groen book by Hendrik Groen, which is actually a pseudonym. It's actually a Dutch writer, Peter de Smet. And I've got a feeling I'm going to really like this one, which is kind of the reason why I was so tempted to pick this one when the chance arrived, because me and Aoife share tastes with many things, but every once in a while we have really opposing taste on something. So when she really dislikes something, I often really like that something. So I'm really excited to check this one out. Let's go for roll number 2. 4. 1, 2, 3. From here you then go across the bookshelves to here. This square is nothing, so again it's just whatever we have here. Boyfriend or mum pick. I've picked Luke for this one, and I've asked him what he would like me to pick, and he has made quite the recommendation. He's recommended something I don't own. Helpful, really helpful in getting down my TBR, but he said that it's not something I'd normally go for, and he wants me to check it out for that reason alone. So it's Inherent Vice by Thomas Pynchon. And this is a kind of mystery noir crime book. Don't know much more about it than that. That's all I've really looked up about it. So yeah, I was looking and going, why do you want me to read this? But it's something different. Next we have 3, so we go down this shelf. 1, 2, 3. We have landed on Read Any Book. So I'm going to go for The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys for this one, just because that is a Kindle book that I'm currently reading. So I've been able to slip in one of my current reads into this already, which I just think is very handy. Also, we've landed at the top of a ladder, so we don't need to do anything for that. If we had landed at the bottom of the ladder, we would climb up to this shelf. So we ideally don't want to land here on our next roll, or we'll end up back on this square again. 1. That's NetGalley backlist, and again we are mid the ladder, so we don't need to actually do anything for that. So I do have an awful lot of backlist books on NetGalley, an awful lot. My thinking is I may as well just work through them in order as they are on my Kindle, like oldest to newest. So one of the ones that I've got on there as the oldest is actually Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I've already read that this year because I bought a physical copy. I read the physical copy because I didn't get around to reading the NetGalley one before the physical version was in stores, so I just read my physical one. I want to reread that book anyway, so I'm gonna give it a little reread this month, I think, for this statement. So yeah. 2. 1, 2. Well, this is getting a bit tight down there, isn't it? I get to pull a new book out of the TBR bag though, which is always exciting. Right, so here I go with the TBR bag pick. It's been a long time since I've pulled one of these out. Let's see if we get something I've even heard of. So it's a free Kindle book that I got in August 2012, Murder of a Dead Man by Katherine John. No idea what that is at all. So I pulled out Murder of a Dead Man. I've been having to look this up because not a clue. As I said, it is a free Kindle book that I picked up quite some time ago. It's actually the 3rd book in a detective series. The Detective Trevor Joseph series means nothing to me. I will say though, it's got an average rating of 3.97 on Goodreads, which for a free Kindle book might not be too bad. There are only 256 ratings, so I suppose you can only really take that with a pinch of salt, but this might not be too bad. And if it is a decent read, it'd be nice to be able to recommend some good free Kindle reads. Now, in theory, this game could end very quickly, or things could start getting really nasty really quite quickly. We'll just have to see how the rolls go from here. Oh no. So 1 puts us here, so we have to pick classic or play. I've gone for The Birthday Party by Harold Pinter. Last month on my TBR, I put a play on it and I read it, so watch out for my wrap up. So I thought it'd be great to put another short play on there because they're just nice and easy, something a bit different to read and get through at reasonable speed and feel like I'm making progress. So this one, I don't remember very well anymore, but as I said, I studied it in uni and I do remember really liking this one too. So I can't wait to get stuck into this and give it another go. But we also have to go up the ladder back to read any book, and we have to add that one on too. So for this I have picked The Fallout by Rebekah Thornton. This is a book that I've got a advanced copy of on NetGalley. This actually comes out on the 5th of December, so it'd be nice to kind of keep up with my NetGalley reads as well as reading some backlist old stuff. This puts us at 7 books so far for this TBR. 1. I don't know why we're stuck on ones all of a sudden, but that's NetGalley backlist. So I've picked Hard Pushed, a Midwife's Story for this one, and this is by Leah Hazard. I've had this quite a while. It'd be nice to tick something off. Non-fiction November is something that's happening in November, so it means that I can get on that train and read some non-fiction too. Right, next. 1 again. Book from a friend's most recent TBR. Aoife put up her non-fiction November TBR the other day, and one of those was the David Attenborough book. Specifically, Adventures of a Young Naturalist, the Zoo Quest Expeditions. And I really quite like David Attenborough and his work, and so when I saw her hold that up, I was like, if I'm going to pick up any non-fiction in November other than the one that I've just previously mentioned from the previous one, this looks like a good pick. I don't own it, so I would probably grab a copy of it on Audible using an Audible credit, so that's not a problem. Please, something other than 1. Nope, it's still 1. New TBR bag again. And here we go with another one. So this time I picked out Tarzan and Janine. That means nothing to me. As I said, it's another old free Kindle book that I just happened to grab. So if I was to look at this cover, it just screams tacky romance smut kind of book to me. But maybe it'll be okay, because again, it's got 3.77 as an average on Goodreads. That is only with 110 ratings though. But it'll be fun to check it out, I suppose. 5. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at the top of the ladder, so we don't need to do anything. This is a friend's recent 5-star read. The most recent one I could think of that Aoife has read is Rebekah by Nicola Moriarty. And I know quite a few people that love this book. Another example would be Kath over at whatever a channel is called these days. And so I thought, yeah, solid pick. So I'm going for Rebekah. 1. Get social media to pick a book. I'll have a think about which platform I want to use for this, I think. So I picked Twitter for this one, and let's check out the results. There was only 1 vote, and that was my mum. So please watch out future months on Twitter to vote in this so that I don't get stuck with whatever my mum tells me to read, because it looks like I'm now rereading Evelyn Hugo again. I mean, any excuse to reread Evelyn Hugo is fine with me, so I am very happy with this pick, but yeah. 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we needed to land on that one and we haven't, so we go back across to here, which is 4 and boyfriend or mum pick for number 13. Not content with just voting on Twitter, my mum has voted for her pick, and she was torn between a few things, but I actually bought her a thriller the other year and she read it this summer and really liked it, and we realised I hadn't read it, so she's gone for that, and that is The Couple Next Door by Shari LaPena. I read 2 of her 4 novels that are out and I really liked them. Is it 4? I'm sure it's 4. Anyway, I've read like 2 of her other books and I really loved them, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this one too. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another NetGalley backlist. For this one, I have gone for Disturbance by Marianne Kavanagh. I know nothing about this. It's tagged on Goodreads as fiction holiday Halloween. That tells me nothing. don't want to read the description because the cover does suggest kind of spooky vibes, and I don't want to get spoiled from the synopsis. I must have liked the idea of the synopsis when this was first kind of posted on NetGalley, because I would have read it back then, so hopefully I'll enjoy this one. If I try rolling with my left hand, I'll have better luck. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is Kindle First or a Kindle Unlimited or a Kindle Prime book. And I don't currently have Kindle Unlimited. I have it occasionally when there's free deals on it, but I don't currently have it. So I've picked one of my Kindle Prime books that I've got on my Kindle waiting for me. That book is The Big Book of Serial Killers by Jack Rosewood and Rebekah Lowe. I love a good serial killer book, whether it be fiction or whether it be non-fiction. This is a non-fiction, so again it will fit right in non-fiction November. It's worth noting as well that if I do have to go back along here and go back down here, I can then, when I get down here, turn left or right. I'm turning right because this TBR is already 15 books long, but if I'm having a run where I've not landed on many, I may pick to go the other way just to extend the TBR a bit. 3. 1, 2, 3. Another social media pick. So this time I've gone for Instagram, and I had a few different people vote. The one that stood out the most to me was from Victoria, and that was The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. This is a book I've had my eye on quite a bit this year, and so I own it. I jumped at the chance to pick this one, so thank you so much, Victoria. This is going on my TBR. Number 1 is read any fiction book. So I've currently got Pet Sematary by Stephen King on the go on audiobook. I've got a little bit of that left still, so I've kind of cheated a little bit since this TBR was getting so big and put my current audiobook on there. So yeah, I want to finish Pet Sematary this month, which should be easily doable. I'm absolutely loving it. What we ideally want to roll here is a 2, and if not, a 1. Well, that helps. Read a standalone. For this one I had a little dig around on my Kindle, and I found The Fifth Letter by Nicola Moriarty that I'd purchased earlier this year. I don't know much about it, but it's going to be in the similar vein to her sister's work, I would assume, Liane Moriarty, as it seems the same sort of genre. I love Liane Moriarty's writing, and I've been eager to try out her sister's writing for some time. And yeah, hopefully I can actually pick this up this time, because I don't think this is the first time I've put this book on a TBR this year. So what we need to roll here is a 1, otherwise we're going back round the board yet again. Of course. 1, 2, 3. Start a new series. So I've gone for The Cruel Prince by Holly Black for this, A, because it looks a shorter read and I need a shorter read the size this TBR is getting, but also because this is a book series that people have been talking about so much, and because of how rigid I was kind of making my reading plans, I wasn't ever getting around to trying the books I just wanted to try. So I'm finally getting the chance to try this book out, and I'm so excited. 3. 1, 2, 3. NetGalley backlist. So for this one I've gone for A Gift for Dying by MJ Arledge, and I've never read anything by this author, but I own quite a few of their books now, and so this was just the first one that I saw on my NetGalley backlist, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. 2. 1, 2. New TBR bag. This time from the TBR bag I pulled out another free Kindle book, The Ice Cage by Olivia Nilsson Julian. I've not a foggiest what this is about, so I've had to look it up too. And this is the first book in a trilogy, the Baltic trilogy. It's a mystery thriller, kind of a European Scandinavian literature book. This cover is absolutely shockingly terrible, but just because it's obviously, from the looks of it, a self-published book, it doesn't mean it'll be terrible. It hasn't got the best rating on Goodreads. It's 3.33 average with 396 ratings, so the worst of the 3 that I've now pulled out, but it does sound like something I could potentially like. It says if you liked Stieg Larsson's Millennium Trilogy, you might also like Magnus Sandberg, a Londoner returning to Scandinavia to bury his estranged father, only to discover that he has been murdered. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Friend's recent 5-star read. I started struggling with this a bit. It feels like no one's been rating anything 5 stars recently, so I've tweaked this to read a friend's 5-star read. It doesn't need to be recent because it was just giving me a headache trying to actually find one that was recent and 5 stars. And this also helped me pick up another book that I've just been putting off for so long and I've been wanting to read for the longest time now. So I have picked Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman, because I just feel like it's a crime that I haven't read this book yet. So we are hoping for 1, 2, 3, 4 or less. Really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boyfriend or mum pick? Now I've had Luke pick one, I've had my mum pick one. I think it's getting a bit ridiculous now, so I'm actually going to text a friend and see what they recommend. So I've texted Sylvia. If you've watched my London blog from last year, then you will have seen a quick little glimpse of Sylvia because she went with me, and she's Polish, so she's actually recommended a Polish author for me. So this is a book I don't own. She has offered to lend it me, but I'd rather not read too many physical books this month because I am going to be spending a lot of time travelling around in London. So my Kindle's probably the best bet, which is why there's been so many Kindle picks for this month. But yeah, she's recommended a fantasy series to me, so I'll be picking up the first book in the Witcher series. I'll probably grab the audiobook for it because this seems like the easiest route again for me with being out and about so much in November. And yeah, this isn't necessarily something I'd normally pick up. It's high fantasy, but she was singing its praises and I did ask for a recommendation, so hopefully going to have time to follow this through. Number 1. Start a new series. So again, I've had a look through my Kindle and looked for something that I own that I've bought this year that is the beginning of a series. And for this, I've actually picked The Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. This is the first Poirot book. So I don't think this should take me too long. It seems to think it's only 121 pages. So unless the font's tiny, this shouldn't be a bad pick for me. 2. Read any book. So I've just picked another NetGalley book that I've got coming up that's being released in December, and that is All the Rage by Cara Hunter. I've been wanting to pick up some Cara Hunter for a long time and I haven't yet, so here's my chance. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you kidding? So a classic or a play again. If this TBR wasn't huge, I'd probably have gone for classic at this point, but I just need the short books right now. So I have, nope, not that one. I have gone for Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. This is another university text that I read. I actually didn't like this one and I gave it like 2 stars back in the day, but I'm all for, you know, checking how my tastes might have changed with age. Maybe I'll actually like this now. And it's a short read, so if I don't like it, I can give it another chance and then just like maybe start actually learning to get rid of books that I don't like. And I also need to go back up the ladder again to read any book. So I have picked The Marriage Pact for this one by Michelle Richmond. This was on last month's TBR and I didn't get to it, so it seemed a perfect chance to give it another chance. Oh dear Lord, am I going to end up with a TBR of like 100 books? I'm at 27 so far. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Read a free Kindle book. Because we've not already had enough of those throughout this game. This will be the 4th free Kindle book of the month. So let's see. So I've gone through my Amazon account and checked what my oldest free Kindle book is that I haven't read. And that is Hostile Witness, which is Witness 1 by Rebekah Forster. I don't know anything about this at all. It's got promise though. It's got an average rating of 3.77, but it's had over 18,500 ratings. So this might not end up being as bad as you'd potentially think. I'm definitely up for giving this one a go. We also get to go up the ladder on this one. It's a bit ambiguous as to whether it's this square or this square because I've drawn it badly. But as that ladder goes to that square, I'm going to put this one at this square. So friend's recent 5-star read. As I said, I've ditched the recent because of having struggles, but I did manage to find one that Aoife had read this year that she gave 5 stars to that I have been so desperate to pick up, and that is Meat Market by Juno Dawson. I absolutely adore Juno Dawson's writing. Clean was on my top 10 for last year, I think it was last year, and so I've been desperate to pick up Meat Market. I am well up for this book. And at this point, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 to win. Oh my God, we've actually done it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is BookTube or BookTuber pick. So I went onto my audiobook recommendation searching. I can't think in English today. I've got such a headache. But I looked at the video that I will link in the cards at recommendations that I asked for earlier this year on which audiobooks I should listen to, and this was one of the books that had been named on there by Aoife. I feel like Aoife's just a feature of this video. But yeah, I was looking through all the picks on there, looking at what I haven't yet got round to, and The Museum of You by Carrie Spray was the one that kind of stood out that I wanted to give a go out of the ones that were still on there. So that's what I am going for. Again, this will be an audiobook pick, so hopefully I will have time to squeeze it in as I'll be listening to a lot of audiobooks this month. We also then get to slide down the bookmark to the start square, which is books I want to read this year. Finally, because we landed where we are, the 31st and final book on this TBR is obviously books I want to read this year. I wanted this to be something that would pop up every single month at least once. So that's why I've got the bookmark running all the way down to the bottom of the grid so that I have to end the game there each month. So this means that I get to pick from one of the books that are featured in this video that I will link in the cards. And the one that I have gone for is literally just the first one on there. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco. I've been wanting to read this since I bought it like a year and a half ago. It's definitely something that I've been incredibly excited for a long time, because even before I bought this I was desperate to read it. So yes, I am hopefully going to try and squish this in November. I say that, I just feel like physical books are going to be the things that will struggle most this month, because I'm still working on a secret TBR video. And then I've also got these 2 plays to give a go, which will be more tempting to pick up than this because they'll be very fast reads. So maybe I'll get to this. If I do, it probably towards the end of the month and might roll over into December, but we shall see. And 31 books later, that is game over for this month. I really hope that every month doesn't lead to 31 books on my TBR. That said, there's no real problem if I don't read them all, and it allows for a bit of mood reading, so at least I've got plenty of chance to kind of have a nice selection for these. As I said, if you have any recommendations, please leave those in the comments down below. Literally anything. I own lots of stuff anyway, but if I don't own something, I can always grab the Audible credit or keep my eyes open for it cheap somewhere to add it to my TBR that way, because I'm going to be needing loads more recommendations if the board gives me 31 books next month, or indeed every month hereafter. I hope this was just a bad month. It's impossible to know. Maybe I need to change the design. I don't know, because it's the first time I've played it. We shall see. I also want to say that this video is heavily inspired by similar games that are out there. So there's Becca's Bookopoly, there is Nicole's Thrillopoly, there is Cody's Wheel of TBR, and so many others. These have all helped inspire this game and this video. I just really enjoy watching these. They are like my addiction, and so I wanted in on the action, because if it's something I enjoy watching, I want to create it too. And I tried to make my own game, so this is like a spin-off of Snakes and Ladders, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching this incredibly long TBR video. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye!